And my guest today is songwriter and producer Andrews. Jenna Andrews. How are you, Jenna? Thanks for stopping by. And you know what? We're going to talk about the green room and much, much more. Appreciate you dropping in today.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's kind of, just kind of jump right into the specifically enough. You have been producing for a while with some really top talent and as a producer songwriter. How did that all start for you?
I've been doing it really as a kid. I started writing when I was 14, and in high school, I just kind of, tried to sell tickets to as many people I knew coming into town that I could open for, just to sort of open the doors as much as I could. And then I ended up moving to Vancouver. I'm from Calgary, Canadian. So I went to Vancouver, started an open mic night, again, just to kind of hustle and meet people, make relationships. Ended up meeting my manager over MySpace, funny enough. Moved to Toronto and just grinded, hustled for a couple of years, and ended up signing a record deal at Def Jam when I was 23, 22, 23. And then, that was really the beginning, I think, of where I'm at now. I was signed there for like 6 years and then started my songwriting career.
So that's crazy. Again, the story, get a label like Def Jam to sign you at that age, right? That's gonna be so real for you when that
Um,
happened.
yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, I think for me, I wasn't really expecting it. It was kind of one of those, like, my manager called saying that we're going to New York to showcase for LA Reid, and then just ended up signing, the day that I got there. But I've said this a bunch of times, but I really feel like it's just kind of the entry point. I mean, you don't realize at the time. You think, oh, I've arrived, but really, it's just kind of like, even though you've been working your whole life, it's really like the beginning. So I think in that sense, I learned so much, and going into, like, obviously a writer for other artists now, I think it taught me so much about what an artist wants, and it kind of just gave me so much perspective in my career. So I'm really, really grateful for that.
All right, so let's kind of let's talk about your latest your music, and then we're gonna go into the green room.
Okay, cool.
All right, so what's new on your music? Update us, update your fans.
Well, I mean, we've been writing with a lot of, I moved to Nashville recently, so I've been writing a lot of stuff here in country, and, like, I'm really excited for this album coming out. This girl named Mickey Guyton, and she's amazing. So me and my partner Stephen Kirk have a couple songs on her album, one of which is called House on Fire. That's the title name to her album. So it's really cool. Nelly Furtado has an album coming out, a couple songs on there. This band called As One, who's an Israeli-Palestinian group. Very, very, very interesting story. They have a show coming out on Paramount Plus, and we have a single coming out in September with Nile Rodgers. So a lot of exciting stuff.
It sounds like it, for sure. And then I guess your passion project would be the green room, wouldn't it? For sure, in the way it helps with
Yeah.
mental health. Kind of how did that how happen?
Well, I mean, it's just been something that has always been important to me in terms of the mental health space, because I've always struggled with anxiety and, just having a bunch of issues in high school as being bullied and things like that, and sort of feeling nervous to actually talk about it. And obviously, part of being an artist, obviously, there's a lot of pressure in that, and especially when you're coming from a place of anxiety, it's hard to, always feel comfortable, being able to actually feel okay being nervous or things like that. You always want to be on point. But what I realized is so many artists also feel that way, and to just kind of be honest and authentic to yourself is something that your fans really admire, because I think it makes them feel not alone, right? So I think starting a podcast to be able to talk about that, and especially having those fans listen and sort of be like, we're all the same, we're all human, we all feel these things, I think. And it's a look into the writing room, right? Like, that's really what happens. It's kind of like a therapy session brought to song, and I think those are how the best songs are written. So it was something that I felt is really important to put out there, and it's like a little baby of mine.
Absolutely. And you think about these mental health topics, it's just really our mental health is so important to us. And yet we grind all the time. We overdo things in any area of our lives, and we wonder why our life can go out of control so quickly. And we really have to take a step back and say, is this really good for me and my how my overall brain health is, right? Is that brain going to be something that is going to relate to everyday life? If we're not feeling good about ourselves, we're not going to be able to accomplish anything we want to accomplish in life, in any of our areas of lives of our life.
100%. I think just being authentic and honest with people around you, and obviously when you're doing music, I think it's something that just is so. It just makes you feel like so much more comfortable in your own skin.
Right. And that's the thing we are not taught to do, to be comfortable in our own skin. What is true? Is it what we want or somebody else wants? And are we truly living our authentic self? So important.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. It's so important. Sorry to cut you off, but I was saying that, yeah, I think that it's so important to be that way because you learn that as much as we feel like we need to hide and, to feel accepted, people actually prefer when you're, just honest. I think it brings the best connections that we have in life, to be honest.
Well, if you look at what social media posts grow the most, it's authentic, real life sharing, and also truly just telling your story. People don't want to be sold to, they don't want to be pitched to, they want to hear a story, they want to hear authentic, and they want to really see the vulnerability of people. And that's what ultimately,
Exactly.
yeah, if we don't, we're not being authentic to ourselves and we're not being straight. So I have a lot of my conversations on my podcast, radio show, television show, where I really go deep and share things about my life because I want my listeners and viewers to know, hey, this is truly who Neil is.
100%. 100%. I think that's what makes, especially in a world that social media can be so, so much pressure for people to live up to a certain standard. I think that it's really cool when people expose their real life and just things that make you feel more connected to the person rather to feel like, oh, it's something unachievable or whatever it is that people feel when they look at other people's lives that really we don't have any idea what's going on in their life. We just see what we see, right? But I think when you obviously are able to post things that are real and then, you're comfortable enough to relate to your fan or to be able to, talk to your fans in a real way, I think they really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Okay. Best place we can find information on you. Look at check out all your music and also the green room.
So all across every social media is the Jenna Andrews, and then the Green Room Talks is the Green Room Talks, and it's really just the same thing across all my socials. And then you can go to Spotify or Apple for the Green Room Talks as well.
All right. Thanks, Jenna. Appreciate it.
Of course, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're listening and watching the Neil Haley